Hello there, everybody. This is Jedi Master Jack the Reaper. Today, I have a special treat for you. Today, we're going to jump all the way back prior to the Clone Wars, prior to any of the new sequels. We're going to dive right back to where this whole thing theoretically all began, back in Episode 1. Today, we're going to dive into one of the most famous fights in all of Star Wars. The Qui-gon, Obi-wan, Darth Maul triple duel. The Duel of Fates, as they call it. I have seen this particular fight before, back when it was originally released, and a couple times shortly thereafter when the DVD came out. But I will admit it has been years, and since then I have started watching through the Clone Wars, kind of regaining a lot of my excitement and reinvigorating my joy of Star Wars. So I figured it was time to come back and pay a nod to where all of this began, and where some of the prime moments that got me just absolutely hooked into Star Wars began, this being one of them. So today, let's take a look at one of the best lightsaber fights in the series to date, and see what it has in store for us. I hope you guys enjoy my reactions as we go through this together. Let's take a look.
Anakin, stay where you are. You'll be safe there.
Little
Stay in
Anakin.
that cockpit.
Qui-Gon, I miss him so much. There it is. Chills down the spine. Look at the intensity in his eyes.
We'll take the long way.
Ooh. This is the good stuff right here. Cloaks off, baby. Ah! Yes. That second edge of the lightsaber, I remember back in theaters when that was first came out, everyone lost their frickin' minds. It was the first time we saw a dual-bladed lightsaber. Already the battle is heated. Get rid of all those foot debris. Open up the door. Ooh, kick to the face. This is smart of Maul. Get rid of one. There we go. They got him cornered. What's he doing? Oh, he doesn't look bothered at all. There we go. One on either side. There's that iconic music. Oh, that was a staggering kick. Oh, but Qui-Gon retaliates. Man, he doesn't let up at all. Ooh, a timely kick for Maul. Look at the confidence in Qui-Gon's charge. He is not about to let up. Obi-Wan back. Ah, yes. Corner him. Where's he gonna go from here? This part here, I remember this part was just nail-biting in the theater. It was like... Guess not. That little smile. It's interesting to watch all the body language going on here. Those drums, man. They know. Oh, he's coming right out the gate swinging, man. Here we go, here we go. I remember. Now he has to watch, learn something at least. Qui-Gon looks almost confused. That right there, that moment slayed me. Least favorite moment in all the movies to this date, still 100%. Obi-Wan. Look at him, he's getting ready. Ooh, ooh. Oh, he's coming up swinging just the same. Coolest choreography ever. The whole speed of this fight's gotten faster at this point. Yep. Get rid of that second blade. On his tails, now who's running? Maul's fighting style is really physically aggressive, kind of like Qui-Gon's, right? Lots of punches, lots of kicks. Oh, man. He almost forced him back into that door. This part here always confused me, why Maul didn't do more drastic measures. He looks confused. He's like, what are you gonna do? Wow! Yeah, right there. Oh, back to the realization.
It's too late. No. Obi-Wan. Promise. Promise me you will train the boy. Yes, Master. He is the
He really cared about him.
He will bring balance. Train him.
That's a hard thing to watch, even still. This whole thing always was so hard to watch. He was such a renowned and influential Jedi that
What will happen
touched a lot of lives.
Council have granted me permission to train you. You will be a Jedi. I promise.
That right there is the start of a long and interesting journey.
There's no doubt the mysterious warrior was a Sith.
Always two there are. No more, no less. A master and an apprentice.
But which was destroyed? The master or the apprentice?
That foreshadowing, man. Whew. All right, so to recap on that, there's a lot of things that both at the time and even in today's watch through that come to mind. So I remember back in the day when we first saw Maul, I remember him being just like this mystical, no one knew anything about him. He had this absurd amount of power that we had never seen in any adversary the Jedi had fought, really, in all the original movies and then to the prequels. This was a whole nother level of fighting expertise, and it was daunting to watch some of your favorite characters that had essentially, like, I will admit that I have a special place in my heart for Liam Neeson as an actor. But on top of that, you've also got the fact that, you know, I grew up reading the Jedi Apprentice series of books, and that had to do with the coming up of age of Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon and their missions together, their exploration and their adventures together. And there was a tremendous amount of care and detail and coaching that happened by Qui-Gon. He really spent the time to sit down with Obi-Wan and teach him very deliberately these things, and to see them fighting side by side was very reminiscent of in those books. You know, they were matching each other's fighting styles. One was pushing while the other was defending. They tried intentionally every time they got into different positions on the bridge. They were trying to corner him. They had already had a bit of a teaser fight with him previously in the movie when they were taking Anakin off the planet. And even then, Qui-Gon was like, "This is rough."
What was it?
I'm not sure, but it was well trained in the Jedi arts.
You know, so they knew they were in for a huge fight. It was a high danger but high reward. You know, that's their mission, their entire basically purpose, fighting to take the Sith out so that they can have the balance, you know, which in their mind is, you know, Jedi balance. So this is the big win for them. This is everything they've ever trained for, really. And to see the unspoken synergy between the two was something almost like visual poetry. To watch them push Maul all the way back, and you notice through the whole fight, start to end, Maul was playing a defensive, almost like catch me if you can game, right? He had a few, you know, slashes and retaliations where he's like, "Oh, you better not take me, you better not underestimate me," you know, little backhand here, kick there, and it wasn't just enough to keep them on their toes that they could never really regain their feet. It's almost like they got too eager. They almost went in too aggressively because he used that to his advantage. And it's interesting too, because fighting a Jedi defensively is usually like Obi-Wan's game, right? I think that Qui-Gon's immediate intervention in that fight by pressing the attack all the time and being as aggressive as he was actually led largely to the way that fight went, right? Because even when they're on the bridge, when Obi-Wan got knocked off, there was an opportunity for him there to stall. But all throughout the books and the series, you can even watch even within this movie, his entire fighting style has always been one of aggression, right? You never let up on that attack, right? You never stop. If you've got your enemy up against the ropes, you keep swinging. So he just keeps chasing him down that hallway regardless, hoping that Obi-Wan will show up to reinforce him when the time is right. And there was something that always just did not sit right with me at the time that I watched the movies, and even still. I mean, this still creates a sense of almost sickness in my stomach, is that frickin' hallway with the gates, man. Like, you always ask yourself, like, whenever you feel a sense of loss, like, this is true in real life, too. Like, people always ask, like, what could we have done differently? If only, there was something that had been done or some precaution we had taken. I look at this fight and that whole scene where it's like, if only he hadn't been punched off the bridge. If only he hadn't been so slow getting back to the door. If only he hadn't been locked out by that last door. This whole fight could have been so different. And yet it causes the loss of someone whom, it was intended to be the master for Anakin. Like, imagine the level of care and understanding and balance that could have been struck by having Qui-Gon being Anakin's master. Like, all throughout the books that I read and throughout, there are plenty of other books that have been written in that time era that I hear that where Qui-Gon was actually one of the few Jedi masters that believed in looking at your emotions and letting them play a part in your decisions, although not letting them control you, but acknowledging them and letting them flow through you and letting them be part of who you are, and being a human first and then a Jedi second. And that's really all the care that Anakin needed, at least in his early years. And so it's almost like, they talk a lot in the show and all these works about, the fates. And I think that's actually where the title of this fight comes into play, right? It was the Duel of the Fates. It's like, in order for everything to go the exact way they did, he had to have lost his life here. And even though he's still probably my favorite character in the whole Star Wars universe. It's like sad but necessary to see him die here. And it rocked me for weeks, and it still does. I still look at episode 1 and go, I really hate that episode. Like, in general, people have hate for the prequels because they're bad or whatever. I actually enjoy the prequels for the most part, but this episode 1 has a special place of hate in my heart, specifically because of the Duel of Fates ending. Like, it still doesn't, it makes me feel gross. So it's an amazing fight nonetheless. It is a major point in storytelling history within this show and within the series. But dang, it is painful to watch, man. It is a painful experience, and I wish it went differently. Let me know what you guys think. I have kind of let you know what I've had to think about this. I would really like to hear the dialogue of what other people had to think. Hit me up with your comments. Like the video if you enjoyed what you heard. If I maybe popped anything in there that you hadn't thought of before or that made you go, yeah, I remember that. I would love to hear your experiences around this, what you thought, what you remembered, and how you think things would have been different if this fight would have went differently. Quite a lot to think about. But yeah, I hope you guys had a fun time. I would encourage you guys to like the vid, hit subscribe so you can check out some of my other videos. I am doing a watch through of the Clone Wars right now. So if you like this, you enjoy the Clone Wars, which if you haven't seen it, you should. I had people pester me for a long time before I started watching it, and now it is probably easily one of my favorite shows of all time, and continues to astound me to this day. I would love to see you guys around on that journey for the rest of that. I hope this video finds you well. I hope that you can go out and do something really nice for yourselves today, and I really appreciate you coming to spend some of your time with me today. Until next time, may the Force be with you.